Choose life. Choose a car. Choose an electric car. Choose an electric van. Choose to clear your diary for an hour of the day to listen to industry experts. Choose wind. Choose solar. Whatever you choose not to burn stuff. Choose collaboration. Choose sustainable transport solutions. Choose a fixed rate renewable energy tariff and a meat-free diet. Choose net zero by 2050. Choose switching to electric and wondering why it's taken you so long. Choose knowledge. Choose laughter. Choose your friends. Choose your regular hit of the EV Café webinar. Choose relaxing on your couch listening to game-changing, thought-provoking intellectuals that actually know what they're talking about. Choose sipping a brew at the end of it all, safe in the knowledge that you now know better than to listen to the waffle for Bob and Karen on Facebook. Choose the EV Café.
Don't forget to register for the next session next month. What date is that, Paul?
I don't know.
23rd of March.
As it turns out, quite a few of you did actually choose the EV Café today and are now tuned in to watch those that have become affectionately known as the Avengers. And for the next hour, we'll chat about the energy emergency and what that means for refueling. Not of the wet kind either, other than coffee obviously. Cold coffee. Cue the coffee mugs. But that's really for humans like us, or robots like John Curtis, think Futurama. So a very warm welcome to you all, and I really hope you enjoy the ambience of the cafe today as much as we enjoy being here. So a quick introduction to myself. As some of you already know, my name is Johnny Berry, and I will be the moderator for today, but I prefer the name as Chief Barista. Or barrister, sorry. My friends here have some other names that we probably shouldn't share. In my day job, I head up the decarbonisation strategy for Novuna Vehicle Solutions, formerly known as Hitachi Capital. Anyway, that's enough about me. Let's get on with the show. Sarah, hello. What do we have on the menu today? And
I like how you promote yourself from a barista to a barrister. Who needs law school, eh?
Fair hourly rate.
You've got this. Well, we've got a great show for you today. We are delighted to be joined by Enexis EV, who are going to talk us through what's going on out there in the marketplace with all the energy surges and rising prices and what you can do about it. And then we've got Adam Fletcher from Geotab, who is going to come on and tell us what they're up to. They're our sponsor, so thank you very much for being here today, Adam. And then we're going to hear from Charlie Cook of Rightcharge, who will help us decide how you can get the best home charger for you and switch to a renewable energy tariff which suits.
We're just going to say a big thank you, as always, actually that way, to our wonderful sponsors, My Energy, who provide, well, Sam can show exactly what you provide. Come on, Sam, display the wares. This is the shopping channel.
Get your zappy out.
Yeah, get your zappy out. And yeah, so
Beautiful.
Chargers, which are sustainable, linked to Hive Hub and solar and all of that good stuff. Geotab providing insights to the industry from the telematics systems that they put in the vehicles, which help in the transition to electric vehicles. And of course, the AA supporting giving power to electric drivers, I think is the phrase that they use. So we are very, very grateful to all of our sponsors. And we do have some exciting announcements coming up in the near future. So watch out for that, everybody.
So moving on to our first guest, Gerrard Duggan, Head of Energy Services at Enexis EV. So procurement of energy is an important part of every business agenda, particularly with the turbulent events affecting wholesale rates. Gerrard is here to help businesses spend less on utilities and more sustainable as they do it. Enexis EV strives to empower anyone who wants to switch to truly sustainable energy and save the planet. As co-founder and head of energy services for Enexis EV, Gerrard is showing us how this can be done. Electric charging options are many and varied, and using truly green supplies can significantly reduce the carbon footprint of individuals and corporations alike. Whether you simply want your energy bills to cost a little less, or you want them to stop costing the earth, nice way, like we did there, he is here to help businesses in that regard. Just as that point I was reading off the list, Johnny promoted it and I lost my end of sentence, but I've blacked it anyway. So Gerrard, over to you, and looking forward to hearing your 5 minutes of information for us.
And welcome to the EV Café, Gerrard.
And
Thank you.
To EV Café.
Yeah, thank you very much indeed. And thank you in particular to Paul for inviting me to be a guest today. Not sure if that makes me the headline act or the warm-up act, but please don't answer that because I don't want to be upset. So getting on with the detail, the issue that we've got in the market at the moment is big demand and a very squeezed supply. I'm just going to put up on screen a few of the factors that are influencing the price you're paying at home, the price you're paying in your business, and obviously the cost of charging up your car. And this graph very, very graphically illustrates what the market's done over the last 12 months. And you can see two particularly large spikes, one that kind of kicked things off September time last year, and then we had a really dramatic spike just before Christmas, again associated with weather and supplies into the market. So what does this all mean for you at home? Well, at home you've got the benefit of being protected by Ofgem's price cap, introduced in 2017, which means that there's a cap on the amount of money that your supplier can charge you per kilowatt hour. So with effect from the 1st of April, that increase in gas is going to be about just shy of 7.5 pence per kilowatt hour. And for electricity, it's going to be just under 28.5 pence per kilowatt hour. So huge increases for everyone to have to pay at home. And during the time, pretty much from when that graph did its first spike, we had a domino effect of suppliers coming out of the market. They basically went into administration. In essence, they got their hedging strategy wrong, and as a result of which they weren't buying their energy at the right price. The price cap meant they were actually selling their energy below what it was costing them. It doesn't take an economist to demonstrate that that's not going to last terribly long. And what does that mean for you in business? Well, there actually is no price cap for businesses. The market can go to whatever level it's going to reach as a result of those market forces. So businesses are seeing a huge increase, the biggest increase in prices since the market deregulated in 2000. So these are the sort of average prices that your contract renewals are going to start coming in at, which is a massive increase. It's going to mean for most people a doubling of their bill. So here's a quick summary, some few actions both at home and in your business. If your domestic contract, your deal is coming up for renewal, don't renew it. You'll find that most of the energy companies you're on supply with will actually be looking to increase your costs in contract above the price cap. So use the price cap, take advantage of that. I think by the summer, we should start to see some other tariffs coming in below the figures I've given you in the price cap. That will then start to drive some savings at home. In business, start to look at 2-year deals if your contract's coming up imminently, just because you've got the opportunity to enjoy some of the discounting that there will be in 2-year deals. And if you can, implement some energy efficiency that works without people. And by that I mean things that people don't have to think about. If you're relying on them turning things off, they'll invariably leave things on. So use the technology where you can to make sure that you are only using the minimum number of kilowatt hours to operate your business. Sounding a bit like your dad there, turning the lights off in your bedroom. So that's me very, very quickly. I'm sure there'll be some interesting questions to come along based on that. And I'm very happy to answer those, especially if they're easy ones.
Thank you very much, Gerrard.
Thank you,
really
Gerrard.
sound advice there. As you can see, I've just been in Sam's wardrobe.
Yeah, very, very smart. I feel very underdressed now, Johnny and Sam.
Johnny.
Don't forget, I've got loads of pictures of you, Ewan. I can use them anytime. Well, that's a bit weird. I just meant from live events.
Yeah, very weird.
Adam is now a very familiar face on the EV Café and, of course, our sectoral sponsor in vehicle telematics. So a very valued guest. Adam's primary role is to help companies use rich data to obtain valuable insights into fleets, You've done it again. Thanks, Johnny.
Not actually me this time. It was Adam.
It was Adam.
Well, Adam, it's your own bloody fault. Now crack on. Off you go. I need to print this off.
Sorry about that. I just clicked the button. So yeah, just to follow on really, I want to talk through how Geotab's insights and data can help customers get through the rising energy costs. So just quickly, driver coaching improves range, right? So we hear about driver behavior in ICE vehicles and how that can affect, your MPGs and how much you're spending on fuel, and it's no different in EVs. So we've got, I'll just do 3 steps here. So poor driver behavior, in just a month, one of our end customers was able to improve the range across their whole fleet by as much as 25%. So that's a significant change by just improving the driver style. And then similarly, another end customer was able to get more range. So we're looking at the miles per kilowatt, went from 1.5 miles per kilowatt to 3 miles per kilowatt. So again, improving your energy economy on the vehicle. And lastly, high speed. So looking at some of the data, if you drive on average your EV, if you drive 65 miles an hour or 75 miles an hour, we've seen an average of 15% more efficiency by driving at a lower speed. So of course, high speed is a way of burning more energy. So our top tips of these 3 is improve your driver behavior within your fleet. That will naturally bring your score down. By doing that, you'll get more miles per kilowatt and avoid driving at high speed, not just for safety, but actually for improve your energy efficiency on the road. So that's your very quick win. Second of all, we've got our charge assurance dashboard. So you can plan to charge. So we've just spoke there about using public charging networks, using home or business. So with our EV charge assurance dashboard, you can look at when you need to charge your vehicles, prioritize certain vehicles, and it's a simple, traffic light system that you can see on there. So, those that are green are good to go. So you can put in the times that these vehicles need to leave your depot or need to leave home, and you can make sure that they're charged or have sufficient charge to go about their next daily tasks. So if you're running a fleet and you need 50 vehicles to go out at 5 o'clock in the morning, the charge assurance dashboard can give you warnings to let you know if those vehicles have got enough charge to go out. And our end customers actually use it to make sure that the depots are putting the right vehicles on charge at the right time. So by doing that, you're utilizing your own premises. So you're paying a lower rate when it comes to your energy bills. And similarly, if you're doing this at home or your fleet's doing it at home, you're charging overnight potentially. You can utilize the cheaper rates at night time. So yeah, planning how you're charging your vehicles is critical there too. And that charge assurance dashboard will help with that. The next one is just to be efficient. So learning how to drive an EV, I think it's been mentioned plenty of times, certainly on the EV Café, but we're seeing more of this coming up in conversation. So we've got some top tips from the insight data that we've got. So avoid harsh braking, maximize your regenerative braking, and energy consumption will improve by about 10%. So that's a top tip there. Driving style. So again, we've mentioned high speeds kind of coming off the back of the original slide. So invariably that leads to harsh braking. So both of those combined is going to burn more energy. So again, you're going to get less in your range of your vehicle. And heating and cooling. So yeah, in a normalized vehicle, we're using the wasted heat from the engine to heat the vehicle, but actually, in an EV, we're using the power from the vehicle to do that. So avoid doing that where possible. And when safe to do so at low speeds, rather than using your aircon, open your window. So again, just another top tip there of how you can avoid using the auxiliary system in the vehicle to heat or cool the vehicle down, depending on where we are in the year. And then lastly, this was a thing we've done recently for an end customer. So we're looking at where long-term, where they should put their infrastructure. So the 2 heat maps here, you'll see on the left-hand side, that's an area, so it's within Coventry, so we can see where vehicles are spending most of their time. So obviously the red are the hotspot areas. And then on the right-hand side, we've zoomed in into a particular area to kind of see on the industrial estate that they operate within, where can they put in the infrastructure. So just as another end customer was planning their infrastructure, they were going to put 10 chargers at either side. And what they was able to see through using the heat map was actually, we don't need 10 at this other site because most of our vehicles are at the other side of the city. and they're spending most of their time. So we looked at the over a date range of where their vehicles are congregating, and now they're planning their infrastructure, their own infrastructure around the data that they're seeing. So again, just another way in which the insights can help there.
Well, I certainly wouldn't touch Sam Clark with a high pressure hose. That's all I'm saying.
Thank you, Johnny. So, Charlie Cook, my favorite book by Julia Donaldson. I wonder how much that annoys him. The people who have young kids will know what I mean by that. Anyway, Charlie is the founder of CEO and of Rightcharge, the UK's leading platform for home charging points and EV-friendly tariffs. Charlie started his electric car career at Octopus Electric Vehicles and Octopus Energy, where he managed electric vehicle charging solutions. This gets a bit clever, this bit. He has a background in science and engineering, having worked at CERN on the next generation of Large Hadron Collider. Charlie studied climate change management and finance at Imperial Business School and is a previous winner of the Young Renewable Energy Professional and Young Energy Professional of the Year awards. So all a bit cool, really. Charlie, thank you for coming on the show, and again, I think, and very much welcome.
Welcome, Charlie.
Thank you very much, Sam. Thank you. That Young Energy Renewable Professional Awards getting a little bit long in the tooth, I think. Maybe relatively young energy professional these days, but
it was your bio, mate. You sent the text.
Yeah, that's true. Touche.
Thanks for letting Sam know the intro as well.
Well, thanks everyone for having me on for a second time. Yeah, pleasure to talk a bit about the tariff situation. So Gerrard has done a fantastic job of setting the scene. Thank you, Gerrard. And what I'm going to do today is dive into a bit more detail around how to think about this from an individual EV driver's perspective, or of course, if you're a fleet manager and you have EVs who are parked at individuals' homes, then this is just as relevant, because getting the right energy tariff is probably one of the biggest opportunities to reduce the cost of EV driving. And now that the prices are higher than ever, the opportunities to save are equally as important. Perhaps just to build on Gerrard's messages of rising costs, and as we saw in his charts, we've seen a tremendous increase in the cost of natural gas in the UK and across Europe over the past 9-12 months, which has pushed up energy prices across the board. We have done some analysis recently at Rightcharge, and obviously April 1st is the date at which the price cap will be increasing. So Ofgem, who regulate the space, have announced that the price cap will be rising by 54%. Probably one of the first things to note is that the price cap is a cap on the prices for variable tariffs and doesn't impact fixed rate tariffs. So always important to compare or look at the opportunities in fixed rate tariffs. We've run some numbers for the average UK driver. So that's someone who lives in a medium-sized home, maybe 3 bedrooms, drives a medium efficiency vehicle, which surprisingly turns out to be a Jaguar I-Pace. Yeah, surprising. And they drive 7,400 miles a year, so UK average mileage. So that very average individual, they would be paying the least amount right now on a variable tariff. If you were to switch to the best rate electric vehicle friendly tariff, you'd be paying just a little bit more right now. But the important thing is that from April the 1st, this variable tariff is going to jump up to here. And so from the 1st of April, the best opportunity to save for that average driver is going to be by fixing their rates and switching to an EV-friendly tariff. And the reason that EV-friendly tariff can be cheaper is predominantly because it gives the opportunity to charge overnight. And it's that reduction in the EV charging cost that actually brings the total price down. Surprisingly, switching from that variable tariff to the EV-friendly tariff actually increases the cost of the home's energy, but that's offset so much by the drop in the EV charging cost that you get an overall reduction. For the average driver, that's around £300 cheaper per year than a standard variable tariff. And yeah, exact figures are you would be paying about £2,500 a year on the EV friendly tariff versus around £2,900 on the variable tariff. So £300 to £400 in fact saving by switching. This is the homepage of Rightcharge. Here we have an option to compare charges and connect with installer, but here we also have the EV energy tariff comparison. So the first questions are what you might see on your general big comparison services, and this is about your home. So where you live, because that influences very slightly what the cost of energy is, which energy sources you use at home, how big your house is, how you pay. And then the next piece now is considering your vehicle. So it's which car are you driving? So if you go, I don't know, BMW i3, and you could add another one for if you've got a couple. So let's go e-tron. So it's maybe, let's say you do 10,000 miles in the BMW and then 5,000 miles in the Audi. That gives us a picture of the total amount of energy usage for the vehicle. And then we've got to break that down into how much might be used at home. So this question is around how often you might charge away from home. Are you generally parked at home overnight? So we'll think about how much energy might be used in the off-peak period overnight. And then can you schedule your charge, which is a crucial factor to actually accessing those overnight rates. All of that information goes into a big calculation, which looks at electricity prices, gas prices, standing charge, unit rates, day rates, night rates, pulls it all together, and you get a comparison of the EV-friendly tariffs available on the market. So you can see here we've got Octopus and EDF, who currently have them open to new customers. You get an annual estimate for the bill. You get broken down into the home and to the car, and then you can go away and switch to that tariff. So if you're an individual, or if you're a fleet, this could be a great tool to make sure your drivers are on the best rates. So thank you, everyone. I'll hand back.
Bear with me.
Whose phone is that?
That was
You, please.
I'm sorry.
No.
It's actually now time to go to our Newsround section of the show. So tuning in live to Sarah Sloman from the studio. Sarah, are you there?
Of course. Here I come. Thanks for the warning.
Oh dear.
No time.
Everybody, please
know
go
who
on
it
mute.
was
This is
earlier.
really important. She's delivering some really important news.
It's not really important because I can't even see with these glasses on. Right, welcome to the EV Café News. I'm Sarah Sloman. It's lunchtime. Please pay attention because I've only got 90 seconds. EQT Infrastructure has agreed to acquire Instavolt from Zook Capital. EQT will invest significantly in Instavolt's accelerated rollout of charge points to reach a network of 10,000 rapid chargers by 2032. Current partners include McDonald's, Costa Coffee and Booths, and luckily some gyms as well. Meanwhile, GridServe opened their first high-powered electric vehicle charging hub in Wales, tackling charging disparities across the UK. The Swansea Electric Hub features 350 kilowatt ultra-high-powered chargers and marks a step change in the deployment of EV infrastructure in Wales, which has one of the lowest numbers of public EV chargers in the UK. Wales has committed to delivering 4,000 rapid chargers across the country over the next decade. EV Café friend Randall Not So Tiny Smith, don't worry, that is his nickname, not one that I chose, articulately described the need for policymakers to openly discuss with charge point operators the challenges faced by a vast swathe of our population. By 2035, there's an estimated 2.7 million drivers with a named disability, half of whom will have to rely on the public network. This is in a discussion we're going to be opening up on next month's webinar, where Claire Pennington from Urban Foresight and Dan Turner from Plymouth City Council will join us as we discuss the topic at hand, and a white paper is to come on this for sure, so watch this space. And lastly, I leave you with the excellent news that electric vehicles have brought down the CO2 emissions of new cars in the UK to the lowest ever level. And more on that as we see the likes of Britishvolt flying ahead with their strategic partner Glencore, who have agreed to build a battery recycling ecosystem in the UK. So much to say, but I'm completely out of time. So thank you for watching. I am Sarah Sloman, and it's back to the studio. But first, Paul, you don't care about vans though, right? Just shove them in a car park with everyone else, yeah?
Ewan, I knew you when you had nothing. Now we've got Tesla, off-road parking, and oat milk.
Everybody who's listening before they all dial off is, please do reshare and share anything that we put out if you'd be so kind. We're obviously here doing this on our own back to try and spread the message of EVs and everything associated to it. So if you're here, you're listening, you're interested, thank you for doing so, and please do share all of our stuff so that we can spread the word wider and further throughout this year.
This is about growing the EV community in any way we can and accelerating the transition towards electric vehicles, but also renewable energy, right? That's what we all do. So if you could just spread the word, as Sam says, we'd much appreciate it. Make sure you're connected to all of us. Make sure you follow our social channels, and we will be writing up today's session. So please engage in our LinkedIn.
Don't forget to register for the next session next month. What date is that, Paul?
I don't know.
23rd of March.
Thanks, Sarah.
Accessibility for all.
Hospital pass, brilliant, love it.
There's also an opportunity for any of the audience to come online and talk to us as well. So I'm going to stop this recording.